The first warship materialized above New York City at 3:47 in the morning. Within seconds, 12 more followed, their hulls gleaming like obsidian daggers against the stars. Admiral Krathsul of the Viridian Galactic Empire watched Earth's primitive cities sprawl beneath him, completely unaware of their impending annihilation. His species had conquered 400 worlds in the past millennium. Earth would be conquest number 401. "Deploy the announcement," Krathsul commanded, his three eyes blinking in sequence with satisfaction. The broadcast penetrated every electronic device on the planet simultaneously. Krathsul's translated voice boomed across billions of screens. "Humans of Earth, you are now subjects of the Viridian Empire. Resistance is futile. 1. Your weapons are toys. Your militaries are insects. Your weapons are insects. Surrender within one rotation of your planet or face extinction." In a bunker beneath the Colorado mountains, General Patricia Hayes slammed her fist on the conference table. "How long until they reach firing range?" "They're already in it, ma'am," Lieutenant Kyle Morrison replied, his voice tight. "They're just waiting." "Then we don't wait." Patricia's jaw set hard. "Execute Protocol Sentinel. Authorization Hayes 770 meg." Morrison's fingers flew across his keyboard. "Ma'am, are you certain? We've never tested this on actual targets." "Do it now, Lieutenant." Cross Earth, hidden installations hummed to life. For 70 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. Ever since the Roswell incident revealed they weren't alone, every UFO sighting, every unexplained phenomenon had been studied, reverse-engineered, and improved upon. The world's greatest minds had worked in absolute secrecy, building weapons the public never knew existed. In orbit, Krathsul checked his tactical display. "Still no response from their military?" "None, Admiral. Their primitive radar barely detects us." "Pathetic." "Begin the demonstration. Destroy one of their major cities. I recommend the one called London." The weapons officer initiated the firing sequence. Energy built within the ship's primary cannon enough power to vaporize everything within a 50-mile radius. The shot never fired. Every Viridian warship simultaneously lost power. Lights died. Engines failed. Life support systems crashed. Backup generators refused to activate. In the sudden darkness, Krathsul's crew began to panic. "Report!" he roared. "All systems offline, Admiral." "Everything's dead." On Earth's surface, Patricia watched her screens with grim satisfaction. The quantum disruptor network had worked perfectly, sending cascading pulses that fried every piece of Viridian technology within Earth's orbit. The aliens had made their fatal mistake. They assumed humanity's visible technology represented their true capabilities. "Launch the Raptors," Patricia ordered. 60 stealth fighters, invisible to conventional sensors, screamed toward orbit. Each carried weapons designed specifically to penetrate alien shielding based on 70 years of captured technology analysis. Krathsul stared in horror as human fighters appeared on his dead screens, somehow visible through emergency backup sensors. Impossible! They shouldn't have space-capable craft for another 1,000 years. The first Raptor reached the Viridian flagship. Its pilot, Captain Linda Pierce, armed her plasma torpedoes. "For Earth," she whispered, and fired. The explosion lit up the night sky like a second sun. Within 6 minutes, all 13 Viridian warships were debris, tumbling through space in burning fragments. Not a single human fighter had been lost. Patricia opened a channel to the surviving alien escape pods. "This is General Patricia Hayes of Earth's Defense Command. Your empire made a critical error. You judged us by what you could see, not by what we chose to hide. Return to your empire with this message. Earth is off limits, forever. Any ship that enters our system will share your fate. We don't seek war, but we will end anyone who brings it to our doorstep." She terminated the connection and turned to Morrison. "Send word to our listening posts. I want to know the moment their empire responds." Morrison nodded, but his expression showed concern. "Ma'am, what if they come back with their entire fleet?" Patricia smiled coldly. "Then they'll learn why humans have survived every extinction event our planet ever threw at us. We adapt, we overcome, and we never, ever give up." In the darkness of space, the alien pods fled toward home, carrying the most terrifying news the Viridian Empire would ever receive. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the apex predator, and they had been hiding their teeth the entire time. The Galactic Empire had 3,000 warships scattered across 100 worlds. They had weapons that could crack planets, armies that numbered in the billions, technology that spanned millennia of advancement. They had never lost a war, never faced a species that could challenge their dominance. Every civilization they encountered either surrendered immediately or died fighting with primitive weapons that barely scratched their shields. The escape pods from Earth transmitted their data continuously as they fled toward the nearest Viridian outpost, 12 light-years away. The recordings showed the impossible: primitive humans with spacecraft that appeared from nowhere, weapons that bypassed quantum shielding, and a coordinated defense network that had been completely invisible until activated. The Viridian High Command received the transmission 6 days later. Emperor Vexteron, ruler of the Empire for 3 centuries, watched the footage in his throne room on the capital world of Viridia's Prime. His military advisors stood in rigid silence as Earth's fighters tore through Admiral Krathzul's fleet like daggers through silk. This footage must be fabricated, Vexteron hissed, his mandibles clicking with agitation. No species develops space combat capability without first establishing orbital colonies. No species hides advanced technology while appearing primitive to long-range scans. This is impossible. Grand Admiral Sevkor stepped forward, his scaled skin rippling with nervous patterns. My Emperor, our scientists have verified the authenticity. The quantum signatures match. The energy readings are genuine. Somehow, the humans have technology that rivals or exceeds our own in specific applications, particularly in electronic warfare and stealth systems. Then we crush them with overwhelming force, Vexteron declared. Assemble Battle Fleet Omega. 500 warships. I want Earth reduced to molten slag within the month. My Emperor, Sevkor ventured carefully. Perhaps we should establish communication first? Understand their capabilities before committing our forces? Vextheron's 3 eyes blazed with fury. With a species that destroyed our ships without warning or mercy? No. We make an example of Earth. Every species in the galaxy will see what happens when you defy the Viridian Empire. The order went out across the Empire. Warships from a dozen conquered systems began moving toward a single staging point. The largest military mobilization in Viridian history was underway, all focused on one small blue planet, orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. On Earth, the celebration had been brief. Patricia Hayes stood in the same bunker, but now the screens showed something far more terrifying than 13 warships. Deep space observation satellites had detected the Viridian response, and the numbers were staggering. 500 confirmed contacts, Morrison reported, his face pale. ETA to Earth. They're using some kind of faster-than-light travel we haven't figured out yet. Patricia studied the display, her mind racing through scenarios. Notify the Security Council. Initiate Protocol Exodus. And wake up the architects. Morrison's eyes widened. Ma'am, the architects haven't been active since the program started. Are you sure? We just kicked the hornet's nest, Lieutenant. Now we need the people who built our defenses to help us prepare for what's coming. Yes, I'm sure. Deep beneath Geneva, in a facility that officially didn't exist, a series of cryo-chambers began their warming sequence. Inside them slept the greatest minds of the 20th and 21st centuries, scientists, engineers, and strategists who had volunteered to be frozen, preserving their knowledge for humanity's darkest hour. They had built the foundation of Earth's secret defenses, and now they would help finish the war they'd always known was coming. Dr. Richard Lang was the first to wake, his 70-year sleep ending in a cascade of sensory input. He'd been 43 when he entered the chamber in 1955. The same year, he'd examined the Roswell crash debris and realized humanity's place in the universe. Now, technically, he was 113, though his body remained 43. Welcome back, Dr. Lang, a young technician said, helping him sit up. I apologize for the abrupt awakening, but we have a situation. Richard's brilliant mind cleared quickly. The suspended animation protocols working exactly as designed. They found us, didn't they? How many? 500 warships, arriving in a month. Richard smiled, a cold expression that never reached his eyes. Then it's time to show them what else we've been building. Wait, the others. All of them. And somebody get me a status report on Project Olympus. Tell me the orbital stations are ready. They've been ready for 10 years, sir. We've just been waiting for a target. Well, now we have 500 of them. Around the globe, humanity mobilized. Not with panic or fear, but with the calculated precision of a species that had been preparing for this exact scenario for 7 decades. Military units moved to defensive positions. Civilian populations evacuated to underground shelters that could house millions. Factories that had been producing civilian goods for decades switched to military production. Their hidden secondary assembly lines finally activated. In orbit, camouflaged among the thousands of pieces of space debris humanity had deliberately cultivated, weapons platforms powered up, Each one was designed to look like dead satellites or broken rocket stages. In reality, they were the most advanced defensive network ever created, equipped with weapons that had been tested in the deepest parts of space where no one would notice. Captain Linda Pierce stood in the briefing room aboard the orbital station Sentinel, looking out at Earth's blue marble hanging against the stars. Her Raptor squadron had been the first to draw blood, but she knew that skirmish was nothing compared to what was coming. 500 to 60, her wingman, Lieutenant Danny Brooks, muttered beside her. Those are terrible odds. Only if you fight fair, Linda replied. And we gave up on fair fighting about the same time we realized we weren't alone in the universe. The briefing officer, Commander Frank Mitchell, activated the holographic display. 500 red dots appeared, arranged in standard Viridian battle formation, moving toward a single blue dot representing Earth. The Viridian fleet is confident, Frank began. They're not even trying to hide their approach. Long-range scans show they're using standard Imperial warships, each approximately 3 times the size of our largest spacecraft. Their shields can withstand sustained nuclear bombardment. Their weapons can sterilize a planet's surface in hours. So, how do we beat them? Someone asked. Frank smiled. We already have. He expanded the display, revealing hundreds of green dots scattered throughout Earth's solar system. For the past 70 years, we've been seeding our system with autonomous weapons platforms. The Viridians will have to travel through 8 layers of defensive zones before they reach Earth. Each layer is designed to degrade their capabilities, wear down their shields, and force them into kill zones. And if they make it through all 8 layers, Linda asked, then they face the Olympus grid. Frank highlighted Earth's orbit, where dozens of hidden stations waited. Point defense systems, mass drivers, particle beams, and our newest toys, quantum disintegrators. If even one Viridian ship reaches firing range of Earth, we've failed. But that's not going to happen. Richard Lang entered the briefing room, still adjusting to being awake after 70 years. Because we're not just defending Earth, he added, his voice carrying the weight of decades of planning. We're sending a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity is not a target. We're a threat, and anyone who forgets that will cease to exist. The Viridian fleet crossed into the solar system on schedule, their sensors sweeping ahead for any signs of human defenses. They detected nothing unusual. A few primitive satellites around Earth, some basic space stations, automated probes exploring the outer planets. Exactly what they expected from a species still in its technological infancy. Maintain formation, Grand Admiral Sevcor commanded from the fleet's flagship, the Devastator. All ships report ready status. The Armada moved forward, unstoppable, invincible. They had crushed entire civilizations with 1/10 of this firepower. Earth would fall within hours of their arrival. They passed Neptune's orbit without incident. Then Uranus. Still nothing. Sir, the sensor officer reported, I'm detecting some unusual readings near Saturn. Multiple small objects, but they're registering as debris. Irrelevant, Sevcor replied. Maintain course. The objects weren't debris. They were mines, thousands of them, each equipped with proximity sensors and enough explosive power to crack a battleship's hull. As the Viridian fleet passed through the debris field, the mines activated. Explosions bloomed across space like deadly flowers. Dozens of warships lost shields. Several took hull damage. The fleet's perfect formation scattered as captains tried to evade the unexpected attack. Deploy countermeasures, Sevcor roared. Where did those come from? Before anyone could answer, the second wave hit. Railgun platforms hidden on Saturn's moons opened fire, accelerating tungsten rods to relativistic speeds. The projectiles tore through Viridian shields like they weren't even there, punching clean through hulls and leaving catastrophic damage in their wake. Return fire. Destroy those installations. Energy beams lanced out from the Viridian fleet, vaporizing the visible platforms on Saturn's moons. But for every platform destroyed, 2 more emerged from hidden positions. The humans had built redundancy into every system, learning from every battle the Viridians had ever fought, studying their tactics from 70 years of intercepted communications and recovered technology. The fleet pushed forward, losing ships with every kilometer. By the time they reached Jupiter, they'd lost 50 warships. The survivors were angry, frightened, and desperate to reach Earth before more surprises materialized. They jumped past the asteroid belt using short-range FTL, hoping to bypass whatever defenses waited there. It was a fatal mistake. The moment they emerged into normal space near Mars, every ship's systems went haywire. Navigation failed. Targeting computers crashed. Communication arrays went silent. It's the same attack they used on Krath Zul, someone screamed. They're jamming everything! Richard Lang watched from the Olympus Command Center, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Quantum disruption field is holding, he reported calmly. They're sitting ducks. Patricia Hayes nodded. Activate the Mars batteries. Show them what we've really been building on the Red Planet. Mars had been humanity's secret weapon since the 1970s. While the public Mars missions searched for signs of ancient life, the classified missions had been building the most extensive military installation in human history. Beneath the rust-colored surface, hundreds of weapon emplacements waited, powered by fusion reactors that had been running silently for decades. The Martian surface erupted with weapons fire. Particle beams, plasma cannons, and exotic weapons that bent physics itself converged on the helpless Viridian fleet. Ships exploded by the dozens, their crews never even knowing what hit them. The ones that survived frantically tried to retreat, only to find that the quantum disruption field prevented their FTL drives from activating. They were trapped in a shooting gallery, and humanity was an expert marksman. Grand Admiral Sevcour watched in horror as his fleet disintegrated around him. 100 warships reduced to wreckage in less than 20 minutes. The survivors, barely 80 ships, finally escaped the disruption field and attempted to regroup near Earth's moon. How? How did they do this? His science officer, one of the few Viridians who had studied Earth's history, provided the answer. Sir, I've been analyzing their tactics. Every defense layer used different technology, different strategies. They've been preparing for this invasion for their entire space age. They studied us, learned from us, and they built their entire civilization's defense around defeating us specifically. That's impossible. We never contacted them before the initial invasion fleet. No, sir. But they contacted us. The debris from crashed scout ships, the intercepted communications, the long-range observations. The humans have been watching us for nearly a century. They knew we were coming. They knew how we fought, and they prepared accordingly. Sevcour felt something he'd never experienced before. Genuine fear. Signal the retreat, all ships fall back to the staging point. We need reinforcements. Sir, the Emperor will consider retreat to be cowardice. The Emperor can come here himself if he wants to see what we're facing, Sevcour snapped. These humans aren't primitives, they're predators, and we just walked into their territory. Signal the retreat? Now. The order went out, but it was too late for many ships. Earth's moon revealed its own secrets as hidden railgun installations emerged from craters that had been carefully excavated over decades. More Viridian ships fell, their hulls pierced by kinetic projectiles traveling at impossible speeds. The survivors fled, jumping to FTL the moment they cleared the disruption field's maximum range. Of the 500 warships that had entered the solar system, only 43 escaped. The greatest military disaster in Viridian history was complete. On Earth, cheers erupted in command centers around the world, but Patricia Hayes didn't celebrate. She knew this was just the beginning. Morrison, open a channel. Tight beam transmission to the Viridian homeworld. Ma'am, that'll reveal our FTL communication capability. They need to know what they're dealing with, Patricia replied. Send it. The message reached Viridius Prime 18 hours later, traveling faster than the fleeing warships. Emperor Vextheron watched the transmission with his entire high command present. Patricia Hayes appeared on screen, her expression calm and utterly confident. Emperor Vextheron, I am General Patricia Hayes of Earth's Defense Command. Your fleet entered our system with hostile intent and paid the price. Be your survivors. Are fleeing as I speak. This message serves as your only warning. Earth is defended by technology and determination you cannot overcome. We did not seek this war, but we have prepared for it our entire modern history. Every species you've conquered was surprised by your arrival. We were not. We've been waiting for you since 1947, studying your tactics, reverse engineering your technology, and building weapons specifically designed to destroy your empire. You have two choices. Leave us alone and live in peace, or send more fleets and watch them die. The next force you send, we won't just destroy. We'll follow them home. We'll show the entire galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity. We are not your subjects. We are not your victims. We are Earth, and we have claimed our place among the stars. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. In the throne room, silence reigned. Finally, one of the military advisors spoke. My Emperor, she's bluffing. They can't possibly have the resources to threaten our home world. Vextheron stared at the frozen image of Patricia Hayes, reading the absolute certainty in her eyes. Bring me our chief scientist. I want to know everything we've learned about human psychology and warfare. every scrap of data, every analysis, every prediction. And someone tell me if we have any technology they haven't already reverse engineered. The answer, when it came 6 hours later, terrified the Emperor more than any military defeat. Humans didn't just adapt to their enemies. They studied them obsessively, learned from them completely, and then surpassed them. Every crashed Viridian probe, every intercepted transmission, every long-range scan had been analyzed by human scientists for 70 years. They had taken Viridian technology and improved it, streamlined it, weaponized it in ways the Viridians had never considered. More troubling were the psychological profiles. Humans were persistence hunters evolved to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They didn't give up. They didn't surrender. They learned from every defeat and came back stronger. Their history was an endless cycle of conflict and innovation, each war producing new technologies that reshaped their civilization. They've been at war with themselves for their entire recorded history, the chief scientist reported. They've developed more ways to kill each other than we've developed for conquering other species. And now they've turned all that creativity toward defeating us. Vextheron made his decision. Draft a treaty. Non-aggression, mutual recognition of sovereignty, establishment of a neutral zone around their system. We will not attack Earth again. My Emperor, the other species will see this as weakness. No, Vextheron replied quietly. They'll see it as wisdom. We cannot defeat an enemy who has spent 70 years preparing specifically to destroy us. The humans are right. We underestimated them. That mistake cost us 400 warships. I will not compound it by sending more of our people to their deaths. The treaty arrived at Earth 3 weeks later. Patricia read it in her office, surrounded by the same advisors who had helped orchestrate humanity's greatest victory. The terms were generous. Complete Viridian withdrawal from Earth's solar system, establishment of a 50-light-year neutral zone, exchange of ambassadors, and most importantly, recognition of Earth as a sovereign power with rights equal to any other galactic civilization. Good, Patricia replied. Fear breeds respect. Respect breeds peace. But we don't let our guard down, ever. We continue building, continue improving, continue preparing. Because the Viridians aren't the only empire out there, and the next one might not be smart enough to back down. She signed the treaty but immediately authorized funding for Project Exodus, humanity's plan to establish colonies beyond the solar system. They would no longer be confined to one planet, one vulnerable target. They would spread among the stars, ensuring that even if Earth fell, humanity would survive. Dr. Richard Lang supervised the construction of humanity's first FTL-capable warship, the Defiant, incorporating everything they'd learned from the Viridian conflict. It would be the first of many, the foundation of a fleet that would protect not just Earth but every human colony yet to be established. Captain Linda Pierce took command of the first deep space reconnaissance mission, leading her squadron beyond the neutral zone to map the galaxy and identify potential threats. What she found shocked the entire planet. Dozens of species living under Viridian occupation, their civilizations crushed, their populations enslaved, their resources stripped away. General Hayes, Linda reported from deep space, the Viridians aren't the only empire out here. There are 3 others, all equally aggressive. But there's also something else. Hundreds of species like us trying to survive in the gaps between empires, species that could be our allies if we can reach them. Patricia listened to the report and made a decision that would change galactic history. Captain Pierce, expand your mission. Make contact with those species, carefully, peacefully, but make contact. Show them that Earth stands ready to defend not just ourselves, but anyone who wants to live free from imperial conquest. The message spread slowly at first, carried by Linda's squadron as they moved through unaligned space. Earth, the planet that had destroyed a Viridian invasion fleet, was offering protection and alliance to any species willing to stand against the empires. Some dismissed it as propaganda. Others were skeptical that one planet could challenge civilizations spanning hundreds of worlds. But then Earth ships began appearing in contested systems, defending colonies from imperial raids. Human technology, battle-tested against the Viridians, proved devastatingly effective against the other empires as well. Within 5 years, Earth had formed the Free Worlds Alliance, a coalition of 47 species dedicated to mutual defense and self-determination. The empires, accustomed to absolute dominance, found themselves facing organized resistance for the first time in millennia. Species they'd conquered centuries ago began rebelling, armed with human weapons and trained in human tactics. The galactic balance of power shifted fundamentally. Emperor Vixtheron watched these developments with mixed feelings. The Viridian Empire's decision to make peace with Earth had probably saved them from the fate now befalling the other empires. As rebellion spread and imperial forces found themselves fighting wars on multiple fronts, the Viridians remained at peace with Earth, their borders secure, their forces intact. Perhaps, he mused to Grand Admiral Sevcor, losing to Earth was the best thing that ever happened to us. We learned humility before it cost us everything. The humans are reshaping the galaxy, my Emperor. In another generation, the age of empires may be over entirely. Good, Vixtheron replied, surprising his advisor. We built our empire through conquest, but we've maintained it through fear. Fear is exhausting. Perhaps it's time we tried something different, something the humans seem to understand better than we do. Cooperation. On Earth, Patricia Hayes retired from military service on her 75th birthday, having served humanity for over 5 decades. She gave one final speech to the graduating class of the Earth Defense Academy, young men and women who would carry forward the mission of protecting not just Earth, but all the free worlds. We didn't ask to be leaders in the galaxy, she told them. We were forced into it when the Viridians invaded. But we've discovered something important. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our refusal to accept that anything is impossible. When the Viridians came with 500 warships, everyone said we couldn't win. We won anyway. When the Empire said the Galactic Order couldn't be changed, we changed it anyway. You are the next generation of defenders. Your mission isn't just to protect Earth. It's to ensure that no species anywhere has to live in fear of conquest. It's to prove every single day that freedom is worth fighting for, and that humanity will never stop fighting for it. The applause was thunderous, but Patricia barely heard it. She was thinking about that morning 70 years ago when the first Viridian warship appeared over New York. The world had changed so much since then. Humanity had gone from one vulnerable planet to a galactic power in less than a century. But the work was far from over. The universe was vast, and new threats would always emerge. The next generation would face challenges she couldn't even imagine, but she had faith in them, because they were human, and humans didn't give up. Ever. In orbit above Earth, the Defiant and its sister ships maintained their eternal watch, ready to defend humanity's homeworld against any threat. On Mars, the weapons installation stood ready, their targeting systems constantly updated and improved. Throughout the solar system, the defensive network that had destroyed the Viridian fleet continued to expand, incorporating new technologies and new strategies. And beyond, in the depths of space, human colonies grew and thrived under the protection of the Free Worlds Alliance, each one a testament to humanity's determination to not just survive, but to flourish among the stars. The Viridians had dared to invade Earth, expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they'd awakened a sleeping giant and taught the galaxy's greatest lesson. Never, ever underestimate humanity. The age of unchallenged empires was over. The age of free worlds had begun. And at the center of it all stood Earth, the planet that had refused to surrender, refused to submit, and refused to accept that any enemy was unbeatable. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly how humanity wanted it.